Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Belly Up Sports proudly presents its podcast champions, the Scoreboard Addicts podcast, starring myself, Anthony the Rook, TJ, who's hammered, and us, this as always, is our intern, stat guy, Sal, in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I'm fired up after that
How you
intro.
guys? Definitely.
I want to go kick someone.
How you doing?
Somebody's
I
gonna get a
definitely
super
want to
kick right outside my house.
Stratosphere.
We can go kick Stan.
So, we're back again. TJ, great shirt.
Oh, we all wearing one? This is awkward.
There it is.
Oh man.
Your powers
What are you
combined.
doing, Sal?
I am
God
Captain
damn.
Planet.
I need to go get a shirt.
You can't wear the shirt of the band you're in. That's why we're not in a band.
That's true.
Yeah.
But first things first, you're rocking with
You're
the
wearing the
worst.
shirt. I'm wearing the hat.
If you guys want this, it's available on Bonfire/Scoreboard Addicts.
That's
store.
exactly where I was going, and we got some new stuff out there for St. Patrick's Day. If you want to pay your blessings to your favorite saint of drinking,
The
man
Patriots
killed all
banned
the
alcohol.
saints in Ireland.
Leave my Irish people
Right.
alone, all right, guy?
I'm wearing my green right now.
That's teal.
No, this is
That's
green.
green. Yeah.
That looks teal to me.
You got to fix your computer setting there.
No. Green is like Kelly Green. That's not
This is
green.
Kelly Green,
That's
guy.
definitely Kelly
There's
Green.
no way that's not Kelly Green.
It's Kelly Green. I'm looking at it right now.
No chance.
It looks like
You're
it.
nuts.
Looks like green.
It's Kelly Green. It may not show very well, but
All right,
I'm
all
putting note-
in favor of Kelly Green, raise your hand. you just lost 3-1.
Yeah,
Good
bro.
deal.
You're a fucking Eli fan, so shut up. Take a walk.
Ouch. That's nice comeback. God, at least I
That
know
is
my
a nice
colors.
comeback.
on Friday. We'll be on TSS's show with Jason doing a little board game magic. What are we playing on Friday, Rook?
We're going to be playing celebrity date match or match game. Almost like kind of like a dating show. He's going to give us 3 clips for 3 different contestants, and we have to match that to the celebrity that he gives us. So, like, what's the relevance of, let's say, I think I was watching the other day, they had like Justin Herbert, and they had 3 players, and they're like, which player, you could guess which player is which, and then out of the clues, you guess what it is, and then you have to guess why that one's connected to Justin Herbert, for example.
They banged the same girl in college.
They're Eskimo brothers, of course. That's why.
Yeah, that's what that is. All right. Well, there's some upcoming stuff we have. We've got obviously merchandise out there in the ether for you guys to purchase. If I may offer some advice, we're doing a Back the Blue shirt. All the proceeds from that go to the Police Officers, Widows, and Children's Fund. Great charity that we're trying to support our best. And also we have stuff up there. It's just for fun, including our Caco Tuesdays shirt. One of the big boys for you Rangers fans. We have our Hall Monitor shirt for the Jets fans out there. We're working on some new Rangers stuff. We're working on some Yankee stuff. We got some St. Patrick's Day stuff out there, Brutal Day and things of that nature. And the luck of the scoreboards. But look for us on bonfire.com and you can get that that merchandise out there and hoodies, at long sleeve shirts and t-shirts.
Yeah, and
As you've seen here.
and the crew neck sweaters too, so not just hoodies, which is nice.
Right. So that being said, we move on to what everybody came here for the sports.
Yeah, and then Sal, so you're gonna come back at the end of the show. We're gonna start. So everyone say goodbye to Sal. We'll see you shortly.
All right. I'll
Stick
be back
around.
later.
We may need some stat checks soon. So
All right, I got you guys.
all right, Sal.
All right,
See you,
see you later.
I always cut off Sal when he's saying see you later. I do it too early.
Why are you doing the fucking right now? You're Jimmy Kimmel kicking Matt Damon off the show.
I'm the quick hook on it.
You're Jimmy Kimmel going, sorry, Matt Damon, we have to bump you. We ran out of time.
Yeah.
You're bumping
Sorry,
Sal
Sal.
every week.
Sounds like I'm never interning for these guys ever again.
Super Sunday was this past week, and obviously everybody watched. It was actually the most watched program on television for the last 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought it was a well played football game, in my opinion.
Definitely was. I agree.
Competitive, back and forth. But I gotta say, when you don't really care about either team that's playing, it takes the juice out of it. Like I you know what it was? It's either side. If either one would have won, I'd have been like, okay, I'm all right with that. And it takes the juice out. You want to hate somebody or love somebody, right?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like Tom Brady, in there.
Tom Brady was playing, I'd have been like, fuck Tom Brady. Somebody else win.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah. And I think the thing is too, I guess I know you're not into sports gambling. So people like me and TJ who may have a few shekels on the game, we have another rooted interest into it. So think about sports gambling, Nick.
Yeah, but you guys don't bet, you don't always bet on the outcome, and you place so many bets that honestly, more often than not, it doesn't matter who wins.
No, yeah, right. I mean, I did a lot of props, especially for the Super Bowl, but I did bet the outcome of that. I did predict that the Bengals would be plus 4.5. And speaking of predictions, should we just do this now real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Run through it.
All right. So we're going to show you a clip of the Super Bowl big game bonanza and a couple predictions that the three of us had made. And just see how it panned out.
I don't believe in the Rams. I believe in Aaron Donald.
Burrow trying to keep it going, gets spun down, gets it away, and incomplete. It looked like P-Ron might have had a shot to make the grab, but the Rams now running down to celebrate with a defensive.
He's going to give up chunk yardage. It's very similar to Trayvon Diggs. They give up a lot of yards. He may not give up the big touchdown, and he may even get a pick in the process, but he's going to give up some chunk yardage. So I think he's going to be over the 78 yards, even if he does cover him for the rest of the whole game. He's a boom or bust kind of guy. He may not give up a touchdown, but he'll give up yards. He'll give up chunk yards every time.
Straight drop, going deep in that direction, and he reaches out and makes the grab and takes it to the 4-yard line.
I'm with over on T. Higgins. I think either with Boyd or Higgins, I feel like someone there is going to have to be just pick up the slack, or in case Ramsey's shadowing Chase, someone's got to make a play. Sometimes these Super Bowls, you always see players that aren't the big name guys make a big play. Who was it, the Seahawks against I think it was against the Patriots. I can't remember his name, but he had a big game, and he wasn't someone who you were expecting to have that big game. So I would go with Higgins. I'm going to go over on that one. I'm expecting to be big today.
You've got Chase with Ramsey on him. A little toss here. Mixon's going to throw. Open man caught. Higgins touchdown.
Playmakers to rise to this occasion. Told them go finish.
Parmesan on play action, finding room, going deep, and it's caught by Higgins. He goes in.
100%. I mean, I'm sitting here betting Cooper Kupp 2 TDs because I think he's just going to be an integral factor today. He's going to have to be, like we said.
Stafford rolling and throwing. Caught. Kupp touchdown.
Cooper Kupp blocks so much that people believe him when he goes down to fake block, because then Eli Apple reacted up to.
Pass. Kupp. Got it. Touchdown.
My personal favorite's blue. I won money on it a couple of years ago, so I keep riding that blue because blue usually has a pretty good payout, and it's not too much of a long shot. We're going Bengals. I'm taking Bengals plus 4.5 because I think the Rams might actually win, but I'm gonna still take them plus the 4.5 points.
But the Rams were built to win the Super Bowl, and they have sealed the deal.
So those were our picks. So
solid.
9 times out of 10, one of us will be right. Just to clarify, it got cut off a little bit. When I said boom or bust, he's going to give up chunk yardage, I was referring to Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
Big Florida State fan. If you never noticed from the hats that I have in the background or some of the jerseys I usually have in the background, I'm a big Florida State fan. I watched Jalen Ramsey and Cam Akers for years. And I was talking about Jalen Ramsey being a chunk guy. He's going to give up 30 yards on one pass, but he might come down with a pick. in reference to the question of will Jamar
Chase.
Chase over 78 yards, even if Jalen Ramsey's covering him.
Yeah, and then also another correction was we were live and I didn't have stat guy Sal with me. So his name was Chris Matthews for the Seahawks. He had 109 yards and 1 touchdown, 4 receptions. Now his career numbers, he only has 16 receptions, 176 yards and 1 touchdown in his career. So you could that's a game where guy came out of nowhere and had a big, huge game where you needed someone else to step up. So that was the point I was trying to make. Unfortunately, I didn't remember his name. And you could see why. I mean, the guy only has 16 receptions in his entire career. I don't even know if that included the postseason.
It's a very I'd say Eli stat line right there, where he only showed up for like 1 game.
It's
very Eli of him.
Not true, but
it's very Elisha.
I don't feel like I'm going to fight with you. But basically, I mean, some of those clips there obviously showed a recap of the Super Bowl. Big plays. You had the T. Higgins, that touchdown actually should have been called back because he did pull Jalen Ramsey's mask at that point. Mm-hmm. You have the call on, I think it was a 3rd and whatever. They missed the offsides on the Rams in the final drive. And then they called the defensive holding on Cup.
No, it was a false start.
Oh, false start. And then they had the defensive holding on that 3rd down play against Cup, which I thought was pretty clean. But I think it was, as me and Nick were talking about, this was probably one of those makeup calls for the earlier touchdown against Ramsey. So, but I mean, I know Nick always says this, and I always agree with him. But football doesn't come down to, one play. It comes down to a bunch of different plays, and that's the reason why you lose. I mean, yeah, that draft was definitely. The last drive was definitely difficult. It was a good drive. I mean, I think it was like 17 plays, killed like 5 minutes off the clock. And right before that drive, you had the big T. Higgins drop. So it is, it is unfortunate for the Bengals. I think they pat themselves in the back. They played a great game. They had a chance of winning at the end there, and they couldn't stop the Rams at that point. And not to mention, they only scored 10 points in the second half. And the 7 points came in the first 10 seconds in the game of the half. And they never really can do anything else because you have an offensive line that could not protect Joe Burrow. At one point, he got hurt. I thought he was done for the game.
Yeah.
7 sacks given up. So it was, I thought it was entertaining. Some people didn't really like it, but it was a defensive game, which I like defense. I mean,
one thing was boring.
One thing we didn't talk about.
I thought it was boring up until, I'm not a big fan of that whole, I owe you guys one because I missed a call. Because essentially you're saying I'm going to make a shitty fucking call to make up for my shitty non-call. I hate that shit. I hate the NFL, how the fucking refs have to get involved and change the course of a game. They do it all the fucking time. It's played out. I think they screwed that up big time. There was nothing there. I don't know how many times I rewatched that. There's just nothing there. It was just a fabricated call to give them one back in the worst possible time. You know what I mean? It's like you change the course of the game.
What difference does it make? Because they gave them one at another time.
They didn't give them one. They fucked up. So instead of
a fumble, that was a face mask. 100% is a face.
Of course it was a face mask, but they missed it. They fucked up. So to make up for their fuck up, they screwed the team over. That's retribution. That's played out. That's stupid. On top of the fact that when that face mask was called, there was still plenty of time in that game. What
difference does it make?
It makes a huge difference.
That is scored in the beginning of the game counts just as much as the one that was scored at the end.
It doesn't, though, when you only have you're on your last drive.
Go back and take back that face mask, and then we're not even talking about the final drive.
You don't know that because that changes the course of the game.
You don't know that they wouldn't have gotten a first down on the very next play.
I'm not saying I do know that or don't know that, but I think a bad call at the end of the game is a lot more detrimental than any call in the first half.
It's the same regardless. It's the same.
Not. It's not.
Absolutely
You're sitting there saying that you don't.
Touchdown as the end.
No, because you don't know what kind of play calling goes on if they're down by those 7 points.
We don't know any of that. The butterfly effect says that we don't know any of that crap.
I understand that, but when you have a minute and a half left in the game to make that call there and screw a team, there's no wiggle room. You're fucked.
I will say to TJ's point and arguing, helping to support his argument, that game was pretty much penalty free the entire time.
Yeah,
there wasn't many penalties throughout that game.
Well, I think we can all agree that final pass interference was, in fact, pass interference. Not the one that was called on the linebacker, but the one that was called on Eli Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was. Yeah, that one was.
All right. And they did miss that false start. They missed it.
They did miss that one.
It should have been second early.
It would have been a 3rd and 15, I think, at that point too.
I think honestly, for that false start, I think they missed it because they didn't want to call penalties.
But you know what? There was also a
Because at
neutral
that
zone
point,
infraction
penalties
that they
hadn't been
missed.
called.
Did you guys see it's been going around Twitter? The neutral zone infraction. Somebody on the Rams' helmet is past the ball, lined up.
They said Donald was offsides in that one.
Like his entire head is past the ball.
Yeah. I mean, there was it wasn't completely clean, but
one bet that we all got right. I'm pretty sure we all picked the under, didn't we?
I think we all did pick the under. I don't remember.
I went with
this guy. I picked the under.
I bet the under too. I did bet
both right.
Yeah, I bet the under for the first half too, and that also hit because it was
our predictions were off by 3 points, or mine was at least off by 3 points.
Yeah, I was off by 4. You were off by 3. And the other thing is, I usually bet the second half would be more scoring than the first half. That one didn't come true because the first half had 23 points, the second half had 20. So,
Look, I don't always hit on this gambling shit because I don't like it, but I know my over unders.
Yeah, you do know you're on the over unders, and also on
the only I'll hit all week is my over under.
Yeah, and on the final drive as well was the no look pass from Stafford to Kupp, which is actually an incredible play.
When you see it from the other side, it's crazy.
It's insane, yeah. And how smart it was of a play to move his eyes away to get that. I think it was a DB safety. I think it was a safety to move away from the ball for just a split second to give himself enough time to get back to Kupp. And that was it was a good drive. I mean, that's what you want. You have the ball in your hand. You're down by a 4. You got to go for the touchdown. And that's what you want. You don't want to be down by 3 and have to settle for a field goal because at that point you get conservative. You don't push the ball, and then you have a field goal, and then you go in overtime. And we've seen overtime in the playoffs before. And you put your life into a coin, so you got to win in regulation. We said that plenty of times before when we talk about the Bills game. Play your defense and play offense, score the points, stop them from scoring, go home, winner, and that's exactly what the Rams did.
I feel like I always compare it to UFC. If you ever watch Dana White's Contender or you watch Ultimate Fighter, they always say if you go to the judges, then you just want to lose.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with overtime. Is like if you go to overtime, you just want to lose.
Yeah.
Then same thing in any sport though. Look at hockey. If you go to a shootout, anything could happen in a shootout. Anything. We saw it last night. 9
rounds.
9 rounds. So I say win in regulation. Don't even give it a chance that you might not. Sudden death is sudden death. You know what I mean? Like you don't want that crap in your life. You want to be able to be in control of everything that you can control, and you can't control that coin.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than picking which side you think is going to pop out, maybe.
Yeah,
the away team.
That's true. And then one other point, I guess, was the on the final play of the game but final play for the Bengals, when Donald gets to Joe Burrow and he just tosses it away. A replay of that, like the all 22, showed that you could actually see Chase was behind Ramsey. Ramsey fell. And if just a couple seconds of time, if they were able to actually protect him, that might have been a game-winning touchdown right there for the Bengals. But instead, Donald gets to him. He has to get rid of the ball as quick as he can, and he can't make a good enough play. And that's it. That's the ball game.
So talking about Stafford and that throw with this Super Bowl, is he Hall of Fame bound in your opinion?
I mean, I don't know. I guess he has the numbers. I mean, he played with 2 of the most prolific wide receivers so far in a season. Calvin Johnson and now Cooper Kupp. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could give an argument. He won a Super Bowl. He wasn't the MVP of it, but he did win a Super Bowl, and he has enough numbers. I think the yardage wise, and he was with Detroit all those years, and we established this last week that Detroit was.
I was going to say, you know what? He listen. Not that I believe in who deserves what, but he's a gamer. He got it done. I think his stats speak for themselves, and those stats are coming on years wasted in Detroit. So
yeah,
I think if anybody with 1 Super Bowl and numbers like that, I think he's the guy. I think he goes in. I think he deserves it. I mean, like I said, he's a gamer. He's balls to the wall. I don't think you can really say anything bad about the guy.
No, I agree.
I just think if he doesn't win, the conversation keeps going. Now that he has a Super Bowl, is he Hall of Fame bound? If you weren't going to make the Hall of Fame without the Super Bowl, then you don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame with the Super Bowl.
I agree.
And
it just helps. It just adds another, check mark on the what people look at. Whether it's right or wrong, it's still what people look at.
Events. Nobody wins the Super Bowl by themselves. Peyton didn't throw to Peyton, and Tom didn't throw to Tom.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, like that whole argument of, I mean, Stafford deserves it. Stafford deserves it. I mean, you can't tell me if Joe Burrow had a better O-line, he didn't deserve to win.
I think Stafford deserves to be respected. That's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he deserves all the respect in the world.
100% he should have from everybody, because there's never done anything in his career to warrant being disrespected.
You know what? He's not the type of guy to be like, I got to get the fuck out of Detroit every year until he finally gets out of Detroit. I mean,
he's not the type of guy that says Detroit threw me on the streets.
Yeah.
Like some other players that play for the Rams said about their former team after they'd quit on them. But we're not going to talk about him. But Van Jefferson's wife goes into labor mid-game.
During the game,
mid-game. He's celebrating with his kids, going, "Where's mommy?" And some lady goes up, "Van, your wife went into labor. She's at the hospital."
Yeah.
You could tell he's a veteran because he was chill. If I was him and I never had a kid before, or me as a man, I've never had a child. If my wife went, I'd be like, "Get to the car." I would show up to the hospital in my pads and my cleats.
Yeah, he had his son and daughter coming.
He was a veteran.
Yeah, dude. In his mind, he was sitting there like, better her than me.
He probably looked at his watch like, I got 6 hours. She ain't pushing that baby out anytime soon.
Yeah, it really was. It was actually really cute, the video of him talking to his daughter and son, and he's like, "Mommy's having a baby."
And you know what's crazy is everybody was talking about Odell Beckham Jr. about that. Same deal.
Yeah, but I guess she didn't go to labor though during the game. She
didn't. But I thought it was funny that everybody was talking about Odell Beckham Jr. But nobody mentioned that Van Jefferson's wife was pregnant too.
Like that pregnant that she would go into labor during a game.
Yeah,
you're right.
I was thinking that OBJ's partner, I guess that's what we're calling her.
Yeah, Lauren something, I think it was.
No, I saw one of the reporters referred to her as his partner.
Yeah,
any heterosexual male that refers to his girlfriend and or fiance or baby mama as my partner, but 2022, baby.
I mean, I'm glad she didn't go into labor, because I think they'd been sitting in the hospital and it'd be all about OBJ. Like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm hurt. Believe this shit."
Yeah,
it's like, dude, shut up! I'm pushing a bowling ball out of my bag
in the air, trying to push it out, and he'd be like, "Hey, doc, take a look at this foot real quick."
Yeah. Well, the thing is too about OBJ, unfortunately him getting hurt. I mean, that game might have been really different. He was playing really well. He had 52 yards, 2 receptions, and a touchdown before going out. Could have changed the game.
$100,000 cleats didn't help.
No, the cleats didn't.
So
the
stupid, bro.
Did not help.
You know what? Like, that's the shit that like makes me not care at all and actually point and laugh when athletes are like, "I'm broke now." It's like, well, you're fucking stupid.
You live your MC Hammer life, bro. What do you need $200,000 cleats for?
Like, come on. It's so stupid.
You know what?
Why?
You know what movie I love? You ever see Friday Night Lights?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you never see Friday Night Lights, T? Great movie. There's a part where the star running back, Boobie Miles, is making fun of a younger running back, a junior or a freshman, because he's got white Adidas on. And he keeps telling him, "It's black Nikes that is where it's at. Black Nikes is where it's at." And he goes to one of the defensive ends, is like, "Ivory, tell him what kind of shoes." He goes, "You can't knock him out wearing white Adidas. You got to wear the black Nikes." "Ivory, tell him." He goes, "I'll knock you out in a pair of flip-flops." And I'm like, there it is. That's a winner. That's a winner mentality right there. You don't need $200,000 cleats. You need something on your feet.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. Nothing would have made me happier than if somebody fucking ran on the field and stole them shits from him. Be like, "Yo, bitch, take your purple hair and get to walking." These are my cleats.
Use the bus tokens, Fabio.
So getting to our last point of the Super Bowl was Cooper Kupp as MVP. And if we remember from shortly last week, this occurred.
Unless somebody like Jamar Chase goes fucking off.
But let's talk about like Julian Edelman won one year. What year was that? Was that with the against the Rams?
Probably. You know why? Because Tom Brady probably said, "I've had enough. Just give it to somebody else."
It was a 13-3 game. It was terrible, but he had great yardage the entire time. So I mean, it could happen.
If you're looking at the Bengals winning, you put the money on Joe Burrow there.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I'm saying if you're gonna go a long shot, if you want to put a little money on it, I would probably go with either Kupp. I think plus 600. I think he might He might have.
I can't see it. I can't see it. After all we just said, with the Matthew Stafford coming from Detroit, they're going to give it to Stafford.
You don't tell me if Kupp
they win, they're giving it to Stafford.
If Kupp scores 2 touchdowns, 100.
If he scores 3 touchdowns, that means Stafford threw for fucking 350 yards. They're giving it to
the only reason he had 3 touchdowns is because OBJ was on the other side.
Yeah. So they're giving it to
that's
Stafford.
What they're going to say. I mean, that's the rationale.
No, I know. I get it. But I don't know. I think if you're going to go anyone outside of that, those 2 quarterbacks, Kupp would probably be the most.
That was put out. I was wrong only because OBJ wasn't on the other side.
Well, he got hurt, but I will say he became the MVP. I mean, once again, I told you to put your money. If you're going to put your money on an MVP candidate outside of the 2 quarterbacks, it's going to be Kupp.
Again, if OBJ doesn't go out, it's Stafford.
Did you put your money on Cooper Kupp winning the MVP?
I actually did not because I forgot.
Shut up.
Money talk, bullshit walks.
But I did say 2 touchdowns, and you were like, no. Stafford had a good. I mean, Stafford.
They mixed it up a little bit.
He bet that he would throw 2. He would receive 2 touchdowns. Guy.
He did, but he didn't say. He said that even if he had 2 touchdowns, he still wouldn't be MVP.
Yeah, because normally it doesn't happen.
If he had 3 touchdowns, then he wouldn't have MVP because then Stafford threw for 350, is what he said.
Yeah, but Stafford didn't. So,
but Cooper Kupp didn't have 3 touchdowns.
Dude, you can't sit there and act like you knew that was going to happen because if they gave it to Stafford, would you be surprised?
No, actually, I was actually pretty surprised it was Kupp.
Yeah.
No, I'll be honest. It was just funny. I thought because we did talk about this
that on
last
purpose.
week.
They did it to mix it up, and the fact that Cooper Kupp, came on strong this year and had an incredible season. I think.
Plus, he was on the Rams, and it was a home team.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, think about it. That was probably one of the best seasons for a wide receiver.
Yeah,
in terms of receptions, yardage, and now he became Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, because they played an extra game.
Yeah, I know he did it because of the extra game. I get it. I understand, but he still has the record.
Not taking anything away from him, but I think it could have easily went to Stafford, and nobody would be surprised or question it.
I agree.
Last thing before we move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Eli Apple sucks, and the whole world is struggling in it.
The whole world,
dude, it's the greatest thing ever because I woke up Monday morning and I read an article, and the article started out, "The internet chose violence against Eli Apple." It's like that's what he fucking gets. Listen, you know what? A lot of big time athletes say it all the time. You got to hype yourself up. You got to talk that shit, whether you believe it or not. You have to believe it. So if that's how he's gonna, take on and hype himself up and take on the game and play that persona and put that role out there, that's all well and good. But when it turns around on you, you got to just bend over and take it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rook.
Everyone just piled on. I loved it.
That's well deserved.
Exactly.
He got roasted multiple times. I mean,
he did.
He got roasted after the game.
And I also there was a meme they did of, you ever see because Jalen Ramsey didn't play well either. Mm-hmm. But the meme with the cake, it's I guess they're all like a Sweet 16, it's 6 people around it.
With the fake hand?
With the fake knife? The hands with no knife. So they did that. They put Jalen Ramsey and the guy with no hand, with no knife. And then they had Stafford, Donald, Kupp, and they put Eli Apple at the end. And it said, contributing to the Rams winning a Super Bowl. And then Jalen Ramsey's hands empty. I was like, that's classic because Eli Apple is fucking terrible.
It was Annie Agar, and she said, "Such an incredible experience providing coverage at my first Super Bowl, unlike Eli Apple."
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And last but not least, me, I always go on, hey, one more thing. Eric Weddle showing up 4 weeks ago to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he got hurt. He was playing hurt.
Somebody goes, "Oh, it's a big deal he was playing." I'm like, last game of the year, can't hold anything back now.
Well, that's what they were saying. They were like, I mean, he's already retired. He's done.
Career-ending injury.
It's like, hey, Doc, I'm going to be sitting on my couch the rest of my life, so who gives a shit? Let's fuck this thing up more.
Yeah,
he's torn pec, right?
Yeah.
2 different places, though.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, I've known multiple people that played sports, played football that had torn pecs. I know somebody that tore their pec right up to the bicep, completely separated from the bicep in the shoulder area. And it is brutal according to them. So, for him to continue and they, I watched somebody roll back clips and you could see he's trying to avoid contact at all costs because he must have been in excruciating pain.
He had to be.
Yeah. I mean, but good for him. Fucking manning up, gamer. If anybody deserved to retire after that game, it's him.
Doc, welcome back. Welcome back, Doc.
We agree, Doc.
Yeah, for the first 58 minutes, but they really royally fucked the pooch the last 2.
Oh, before I got a little sentimental thing to add. I saw on guys, I'm big into Jets Twitter, and I just want to give a shout out to John Lawrence, who's fighting cancer. Big Jet fan, and he's I want to say he's from the UK, so he's one of those Jets fans that's in the UK. John Lawrence is fighting cancer, esophageal cancer. The Jets gave him a shout out, and I just wanted to give him a shout out on our show. Get well soon, John. 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 Fuck cancer. We're with you, buddy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Best of luck, man. Keep
moving
fighting.
Moving on to MLB,
or the lack thereof.
The lack of the MLB. I mean, the lockout continues. We have the owners that did send out a proposal and waiting for the players to counter proposal. But they said it was pretty favorable. Pretty comprehensive, I guess is a better word to use it. But one of the things, big news that came out was the universal DH. Manfred had an announcement last week. And he's finally doing something nice for the game, and he's giving the universal DH. So I'm pretty happy about that. I like that. I prefer that over, people who always love the pitchers that rake. Like, I really don't give a shit because most of them don't. So.
To the 2 guys that hit every so often.
Yeah, for Noah Syndergaard and Jacob deGrom to get a base hit every now and then.
I'm going to miss watching.
Madison Bumgarner can hit. He bats 210 with 2 home runs on the season. He's a clubber.
It's not. Listen, it's not at bats anybody wants to see, but I will say this: that every once in a while, where you get to see somebody like Bartolo Colon put one over the fence, it's pretty sick.
Pitchers batting is an abomination. And again, it was always a mistake. Once they got rid of pitchers batting in the minors, it was a mistake to allow it to continue in the majors. Because you got guys coming out of high school or college, they go in the minors for 3 or 4 years, they don't hit at all. Yeah. And now it's like, all right, kid, take your hacks against Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Fastball since you were 18 years old. But go ahead. You're 23 years old now. You haven't batted since you were 17.
I was on either side of the fence. I was on either side of the fence, but I all the points you're saying make absolute sense, and it doesn't help the game by letting pitchers hit. It really doesn't. The one argument that I will always be against is banning the shift, just because hit to the other side of the fucking field to get paid enough money. I really don't want to hear it. And I know everybody's going to say, well, why do you have to bunt that way? It honestly, I understand. I'm not a professional baseball player, but I played the game. All right. And I could put the ball to fucking right field. It's not that difficult. It really isn't that hard to learn.
I don't disagree with you.
One to right field.
I think it's contrary to what the game is trying to do, which is score more points.
I understand that, but
hitting home runs so that you can lay down a single.
No, I get that. I get that. But guess what happens when you start popping them to the right side? A, your statistics go up and your batting average goes up, which is good for you and your fucking contract. And B, they stop playing the shift against you. And you become a more dynamic player.
But how many home runs are you sacrificing to get that base hit?
I understand what you're saying. I really do. But men on base is men on base. And if they're going to give you a free fucking side of the infield, take advantage of it.
On the contrary, that's how you get rid of the shift. On the contrary, if I bat 270 with 50 home runs, I get paid more money than if I bat 300 with 20.
But I bet you your team plays better or does better with more runners in scoring position.
I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to make money. 270 with 50 home runs looks a hell of a lot better to the owner than 320 home runs.
I get it, but in the same time, you had all the people, you had everybody fucking arguing that, like somebody like Jason Giambi. Look, well, why doesn't he lay down a bunt? Because he's not there to bunt. He's fucking batting 230.
Listen, I'm not. I understand what you're saying. I'm talking about it from a business perspective. The point is to score runs.
I get it. But I don't give a fuck about the business side of the game. I want to see the game be played right.
I understand it, but as a player, you're stuck there.
We say it all the time. I'm sick of the fucking Yankees being a home run or nothing team. I'd rather see somebody slap the ball around the infield a little bit. And if
I don't disagree with you. But I'm saying is if the owner is going to pay me more money to strike out and hit 50 home runs, that's what I'm going to do.
I get it, dude, but it's at the end of the game, it's not a business.
The
it's a fucking kids
game because the owners are paying for this stupid policy, the stupid practice of analytics. The only way to save it would be to put limits on where the defenders can stand. There's already limits on where they can stand.
Okay, so the last proposal I saw was that you have to have 2 players on either side of the second base,
Right.
but no restriction on the outfielders. So what's to stop me from bringing the right fielder in to fucking play right behind the shortstop or somebody? Nothing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Absolutely nothing. So
Actually,
then
no,
what are you going to do? You're
You're
going to go.
there has to be 4 players on the dirt.
The last thing I saw was there has to be 4 players, 2 on either side of the bag.
Oh, I saw something that said there has to be 4 players on dirt.
But either way, somebody
the
can't hit to right field, right? I bring the right fielder in and I make him play between the shortstop and third base, but on the grass. You're going to ban that next? Is that the next conversation we're going to have? Because essentially it's the same fucking
I don't
thing.
know. I mean, it used to be 3 balls to take a walk. Now it's 4. What are they going to make it 5?
I'm just saying. I don't
don't
like
with everything.
Too many people are sitting there fucking bitching and moaning saying that the shift kills the game. It really doesn't.
I honestly hate the shift because you see a guy hit a ball into right field and it's a base hit every other time. But because it's Mark Teixeira, there's a guy, the second baseman playing shallow right field. It's embarrassing.
I get it. It sucks, but fucking hit better.
If
you put the ball in the same spot fucking 68% of the time, so they put a guy there, who's that on?
So I got a question. So if I hit the ball over the wall 68% of the time, they decide to play a guy in the fucking bleachers, that's cool too?
If you put the ball over the wall 60-80% of the time, bro, I'll see you in Cooperstown.
I'm just saying, like, it's just I don't have a problem if they outlaw the shift. I hate the shift. I think you're a pussy if you shift. Truthfully,
I'm not saying
I like what's his
name.
I'm
fine with people hating the shift. It sucks when your fucking favorite player can't get a goddamn hit. But
manager
don't ban
years
it.
ago. He used to be the Mets manager. Oh, an old-time shortstop.
Sal,
who was that Nationals manager? I can't remember his name right now. He was a really old guy. Sweetheart, though. Really sweetheart. And he said something like, the shortstop's been playing where he's been playing for 100 years. Why are we changing it now? And that man had balls. Then again.
Yeah, I get it. But the monuments were also in center field at Yankee Stadium for how many years? Why the fuck are they putting a wall in front of it?
Pussies, that's why.
I
missed the hill. I missed the hill at Minute Maid Stadium.
Fucking A.
Bring back the hill. That shit
There's
was
nothing like somebody falling down trying to run up a hill while looking over their shoulder.
Lance Berkman,
not easy,
greatest
folks.
catch in the history of baseball, running up that hill.
Yep.
Anyway, moving forward, talking about the Mets.
Davey Johnson, he said.
Davey Johnson, right? He used to coach the Mets, didn't he? He was the manager in from 84 to 1990. Davey Johnson was.
Oh, it was.
Which segues into our next discussion, talking about the 80s Mets and their drug abuse. We're going to talk about the teens Mets and their drug abuse. And Matt Harvey taking the stand in the Tyler Skaggs trial.
Kind of surprising, no?
Let's take a walk over to the legal corner with Rook. So Rook's legal corner. So just a couple of things here. I did write some notes on this. So the case is the U.S. versus Eric Kay. Eric Kay is the former communications director of the Angels, who's accused of giving drugs to Tyler Skaggs, who passed away. I think it was 2019. So he's facing felony counts of distributing counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl and a conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute. So currently right now is the prosecution has been compelling testimony from certain players that have said that they may have gotten drugs from Eric Kay, who is the communications director. Those players include Matt Harvey, CJ Cron, Michael Moraine, and Cam Bedrosian. Between those 4 players, also Garrett Richards is scheduled to testify next week because there were Venmo payments between him and Skaggs that people might say was a little suspicious. So part of the case defense teams, what they're trying to prove is that, or argue, is that the source of the drugs did not come from Kay directly, but they were different sources in which that Tyler was using drugs and obtaining drugs from other people besides Eric Kay. So part of the reason why Matt Harvey was testifying was he was testifying and he was compelled by the government to testify to prove Eric Kay being the one that provided these drugs to Tyler Skaggs. So there's a difference between what pill he was actually taking. So apparently there were Percocet pills that Harvey had testified that he had given to Skaggs, which are pink pills, and it's Percocet. Whereas there were blue pills as well that were given out by Eric Kay that contained or were laced with fentanyl. Reason why it's important, the difference in the Percocet and the fentanyl pills, is because the reason for his death was a few things. It was alcohol in his system, I believe oxycodone, fentanyl, and then he obviously, when he threw up, he asphyxiated himself while he was intoxicated. So that's where they're trying to figure out we're trying to prove that the pills that did kill him were the fentanyl ones, which were the blue pills that came from Eric K, whereas the pink ones that were from, well, the Percocet pills that were from Harvey were not given to Skaggs. So that's not the reason why he had died. So, God,
why are you laughing?
Because you keep putting stuff in the private chat. Now people think I'm being a dick when I'm talking about someone dying. Anyway, so basically what happens is the reason why Harvey testified, you're probably wondering, why would he testify and admit to giving drugs to somebody when, that could obviously implicate himself in some sort of crime here. So Harvey was actually given immunity from the government to testify against Eric K. And the reason why I said before, as a Percocet, he gave him those pills 4 to 5 days before the death of Tyler Skaggs. What happened was during this trip was Harvey did not actually go to Texas when Skaggs died because he was in the IR. He was injured. He wasn't allowed to go. I'm sorry, the IL. He wasn't allowed to go to Texas. He stayed in Anaheim. That same night, he was actually depressed and upset about it. That he asked Eric K to give him a pill. It was a blue pill, which we don't know what happened, what was in that pill. But he said he had gone home. He was about to have the pill, decided against it. The next morning he wakes up and hears that Skaggs passes away. He decides to throw the pill away because now he's afraid if that's the same pill that killed Tyler Skaggs, it might have killed me. I could have suffered the same fate. So that's basically where we're at this point. And that's pretty much what the main case is right now, is just trying to figure out, or if the defense team is trying to figure out what sources of drugs did Skaggs actually, what other sources were there besides Eric K. So I'm
really chomping at the bit right now because I hate, if there's one thing I hate fucking excuses. I really do. How do you, your main concern now is to build a criminal defense against people that supply drugs to a junkie that wanted drugs. How about, sorry, it's tragic, it sucks, you're a fucking idiot. And on top of taking those drugs, everybody knows it's ever been prescribed any type of pain pills. It says all over the fucking label, it might as well be in neon, you are not allowed to drink alcohol on this. So it's clearly,
it also says can become habit forming.
Yeah. So not only are you taking a pill that, regardless, let's say, you have a pulled muscle, something, you're in a lot of fucking pain, you need a pain pill, you get it from outside your doctor. So it's an illegal source, but it's not out of the realm of semi-normalcy, amongst athletes that have pain pills, may have old pain pills that are sitting in their cabinet. Listen, dude, I fucking jacked up my back. I don't want to say anything to the trainer because I don't want to get placed on the IRIL. I just need to get through this fucking game. It's important for the team, whatever. But when you're sitting there, just chucking pills down and drinking on top of it, drinking to the excess that it's still in your body, the alcohol's still in your system, that you're puking it up. So it's not like you had a fucking glass of wine, took a pill, and went to sleep. Obviously, this is all speculation, but how about you just let the person own the fact that they made mistakes in their life, and that's it. You want to build a case against everybody else involved when, dude, it happens. You fuck around with drugs and there's consequences. Unfortunately, tragically, he passed away. But what other outcome do you think? That's like fucking handing a kindergarten class a loaded gun, cocked and ready to go, and saying, like, I didn't think fucking anything was going to happen. Like, you're fucking with fire and you get burned sometimes. And unfortunately, he got burned. And it's sad, but to make this whole criminal investigation, I understand it's because it's a business and it's a sports team, and you don't know if it's like you're providing multiple drugs to multiple people, and essentially you're like got an insider trading of drugs in the system. But I hate getting away from the ownership of making mistakes and having to deal with the consequences, because people make mistakes, and that's the long and short of it.
Yeah. That's true.
Well, the entirety of the Mets world is turned on Terry Collins because of his discussion yesterday about Matt Harvey and his addiction issues in New York. Mm-hmm. it's come to light that Matt Harvey was doing a lot of cocaine while playing with the Mets to the point where I believe a couple times as he pitched, he started bleeding from his nose. And I guess people just attributed it to the weather. I don't know. But he was having cokehead bloody noses in the middle of games, because he did
testify, and he testified too, using cocaine, in the dugouts and in the clubhouse, and also using oxycodone. So, he did have a history of drug abuse there.
That's what I mean. People are fuck ups. I mean, how dumb are you that you're gonna, dude? You have to be a special kind of stupid to continue to fucking do drugs when you're at the height of your career and you're just wanting to throw away millions of dollars. Like anybody in around sports would give their left nut to get paid just a fucking normal salary of $15 an hour to play a sport for a living and be loved by their fans, and you're just pissing it away. And we're supposed to feel sorry for people that go down that road. We all make decisions. Like I'm sorry, I reserve my sympathies for fucking kids that find out at 2 years old that they have fucking cancer. That's where I reserve my sympathies for. It's a disease. No, those are diseases. Choosing to fucking be a drug addict, everybody's grasping for fucking excuses, and I'm sick of the excuses. I'm sorry, hate me, whatever. It's not PC. I really don't give a shit. I'll reserve my sympathies for people that deserve it, not people that choose to do dumb things.
I don't have to wear a mask because I'm worried about catching addiction.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and especially in situations like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, this guy's addicted to crack. Nobody, like, in what world do you wake up and like, oh my God, today I want to try crack? No normal person's ever like, oh, you know what? That sounds like a great, these fucking birds are chirping, the sun's out, the grass is growing. Oh, it smells nice outside. I'm going to barbecue and try crack today. Nobody in the right frame of mind decides to do that. Like, and anybody that wants to go down the road of like, oh, well, it starts with weed in high school and weed's a gateway drug. Like, there's a big jump between trying something when you're a kid and picking up a pipe that Joe Biden handed out for free and decided to light it up.
The alcohol.
I will say to like, I know obviously the counterpoint to yours is that, I mean, some people unfortunately have addictive personalities, whereas sometimes these people, when they get injured, they get prescribed drugs, painkillers,
right,
and then they just can't live without it, and then they have this addictive personality and they stick to it. So I do get the point where people do say addiction is a disease.
I see, but that's the problem, though. Listen, I mean, I don't have to go into personal details or anything like that, but I've been around family members that have drinking problems and stuff like that. And
you and Iverson have a family member that has a drinking problem?
Don't start with that shit. But I'm saying, like, I could sit here and have a couple beers while I bullshit with you guys and hang out in a social setting. Unfortunately, we can't all be in the same place, but shoot the shit and enjoy myself. But I still get to work tomorrow morning, and I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, it's 2:00. Time to crank 4 beers before I drive home. You know what I mean? It's addictive personalities are one thing, but I mean, I'm addicted to fucking sleep too, but I still wake my ass up to go to work every day. It's called responsibility. It's called fucking having some semblance of sense in your head.
So moving on, trying to wrap up MLB here, is that Ryan Zimmerman is now retiring, Mr. National. A hell of a career. Went from expansion team, not expansion team, but just moving from Montreal to Washington, be one of the first players to be drafted by the Nationals to then winning a World Series with them. So it's a pretty incredible career.
I think he was the first player drafted by the Nationals.
No, I said he was. Yeah, that's what I meant. He was the first player drafted by the Nationals.
The last one drafted by the Expos was Ian Desmond.
Oh, wow.
He was the last player to play for the Expos.
Yeah. And then, so Mr. National, congratulations on a great career.
Mr. Walkoff.
Mr. Walkoff, yep.
Yeah, I love Ryan Zimmerman. I'm you guys know I'm a National supporter.
You are.
When they were the Expos, they were playing in Puerto Rico, and I have relatives there, and we had something to talk about. But also, I was always very concerned that they were going to get rid of the franchise when they were the Expos, because that was the conversation. They were playing games between Puerto Rico and Montreal, and then when they moved to Washington, I was like, you know what? Somebody got to buy their gear, because if they don't, they're going to get rid of the franchise. And I started buying like Washington hats, and I have an Ian Desmond All-Star Game jersey. I have a Bryce Harper white jersey. I've got a Ryan Zimmerman jersey, and I actually have the old Nationals jersey in white with Ryan Zimmerman on it as well. The original Nationals jersey. If you remember Nationals, when it said Nationals, I have that one as well. I'm a big fan of Ryan Zimmerman. There was a big conversation back in the day in the NL East, whether it was Zimmerman or David Wright. Who's the third baseman? Who's the guy?
Yeah.
I got to say is Ryan Zimmerman. He lasted longer, right?
Yeah, I mean, we never got to see David Wright's real potential. I mean, we saw the potential that he had, but we never got to see what he could have been, with some kind of longevity. He got screwed. He got dealt a raw deal, bad hand.
If they had the DH in the NL, he would have had a better deal.
No, he couldn't swing the bat.
No, he hurt his back.
Yeah, he couldn't swing the bat.
But if he wouldn't have played the field every single fucking day,
it wasn't the field that fucked him up, dude.
Could have been.
A swing is way worse than sitting in the hot corner.
Listen, hold on. Don Mattingly made an adjustment to his swing because he had a bad back, and he played an additional 5 years. Right? Because in '91 they were like, "Yeah, you fucked your lumbar up, dude. You ain't playing anymore."
Yeah,
and
but
he added the little leg kick, and he played through '95.
David Wright had something totally different. I mean.
But maybe not playing all those games at the hot corner doesn't hurt it. You know what I'm saying?
It does. I'm not saying it does, but I mean, that's what every time he tried to come back in spring training and stuff like that, it was the swings that fucked him.
But I think we can all agree David Wright was a great player. Ryan Zimmerman, an even greater player. Retire his jersey tomorrow. If anybody, he's not making the Hall of Fame, and I'm okay with that. Retire his number tomorrow. He's your guy. He's your captain.
Well deserved.
When he left the field, his last play, and they let him walk out onto the field by himself, that was one of the best farewells I've ever seen for a longevity player. Not an amazing player, not a great player, not Sal says 2 Silver Sluggers, 2 All-Star games. And he played third base. He played first base. And who knows, if they had a DH, he could have probably been a DH a lot longer than playing first base.
Yeah.
But I love Ryan Zimmerman. He played the game the right way. He's Mr. National. If they ever build monuments in their ballpark for players that played for their franchise, he should definitely get one.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
He's the Jeff Conine of the Nationals.
Yep. And then we'll move it on to our next segment. New York Rangers talk with TJ and Nick. Here we go,
Dude,
boys.
Did you see the game last night?
They're back.
Did I see the game?
This guy.
Oh, my God. My neighbors knew what was going on in that game. All right? You kidding me? I mean, when fucking Smith went into him, and you had Lafreniere and Miller just teeing off on him. Oh, I love that. I loved every second of it. Oh my God.
I love the fire out of Igor when they took him out of the game.
Absolutely. And
you know what? For that.
He did apologize and he did a respectable thing, but no apology necessary. He's a fucking gamer. He wanted to be there. We all were sitting there going, "You motherfucker!" That we just lost when Georgiev stepped in with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in overtime and going into the shootout. That is not Georgiev's friend. I mean, I was fucking livid.
I said it in the chat. I was like, "Great, they took Igor out. We lost. Now we're going to a fucking shootout."
Yeah, dude, I'm sitting there wishing like Lafreniere would go over to the fucking locker room and start teeing off on Smith again because fuck you. But listen, the sudden pull. It was everybody said, "What the fuck?" And we all freaked out. And then watching that video back of him standing in net and just like kind of like, I'm glad they check on the players. And we all sit here and want to shit on the NFL for all the cover ups with CTE and all that stuff that they did. I'm happy that the NHL gives a shit enough to say, go fucking check on him because you know what? He is a gamer. Hockey players will play until they fucking drop dead. And we got to protect him because he's going to play through it and not protect himself. I appreciate that. It would have sucked if, Georgiev would have had to play out the OT and we would have lost in the shootout. But when he fucking came out, dude, holy shit. And you could tell the Boston bench was fucking pissed because they sent the ref over to because they were pissed at that
timeout. Go check on him again. Go check on him again.
They were pissed at that timeout to give fucking Shesterkin long enough to get back in and fucking Stonewall Shesty, baby. Oh my God.
Okay, so I agree with you on that. And from our point of view, it looks weird that he's blinking and stuff like that. 2 things. 1, the announcers were like, he always does that. If you ever talk to him one-on-one, he makes weird eye looks, all right? And 2, when I saw him doing that, I don't know if he wears contacts, but it looked like he had a contact in his eye and one of them went sideways. Gotcha. Like that, to me, that's what it looked like. The way he was blinking, like he has contacts and one of them went that way and he was like,
dude, and I will tell you this from playing ice hockey with the cold coming off the ice, and as you're sweating and stuff like that, your eyes tend to, get a little fucked up. Sometimes you got to blink away the little blurriness because it's a mixed temperature. You're sweating your ass off. You got heat coming off your body, but on ice level, it's about 38, 39, 40 degrees. So that could have been playing with his eyes as well. But I'm still I appreciate the NHL and them looking after their players, especially goalies, because essentially they're taking
too long, man.
What?
They took too long.
They took a while, but you know what? I appreciate what they did, and of course I'm happy that he came back out and was the Shesterkin we all know and love, and stepped up big time. And dude, effortless. He's the standing there saying, "You're going to make the first move, and I'm going to make the last move, and it's going to be a save." It just ridiculous. And then Keandre Miller with that fucking move. Panarin definitely had the move of the night. Breadman, that move that he pulled, I mean, he was shaking like he was on one of those old fucking motel
Barry
beds
Sanders.
and popped about $1.50 worth of quarters in that fucking bitch because he was just jerking and jiving all over the place.
Hold on. He gave him the Barry Sanders juke.
Dude, just a tremendous game. And you know what, taken away from that game, you had the Brandon Snyder, Zach Jones pairing on defense that, I mean, that if that's not Adam Fox-esque, I don't know what is. Two young guys playing together for the first time coming up, and they were a phenomenal twosome against Boston. Boston is no slouch of a team. They played great. Dude, that was a must-win, I think, for the Rangers. It sucks to give them a point and it go to overtime, but as a fan, that was intense, dude. That honestly felt like a fucking playoff game. I was glued, dude. I was absolutely
point
glued.
out, I hate overtime hockey.
We know.
We know you.
I can't deal with the anxiety. I'm too old. It's gonna give me a heart attack.
Every time there's an overtime game, this is what Nick says.
I just can't deal with it. I hate shootouts even more. But Keandre Miller,
Excellent.
all right. Igor keeping who hit him? Smith keeping him out.
Denied.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then the ref not calling it a goal. Two things: he interfered with the goalie, and then he pushed it in with his hand.
Good call.
You know, like
The only thing that bothered me was the hand should have went up immediately for the penalty on Craig Smith with the goaltender interference. Not that I think that Miller or Lafreniere would have held back, because you protect your goalie at all costs, and they had every right to tee off on Smith. And it's funny because what's his name? The announcer was like, and they're not letting up. It's like, no, you don't let up. Dude, you're going to go hard to the net. You're going to take out the goalie. And then you know what? They're standing there watching him push the puck in with your hand. You don't fucking do that disrespectful nonsense either. You just took out our goalie, and then you're going to try to punch the puck into the net. You deserve a beating. Enjoy
I love
it.
the ref separating Lafreniere. And Lafreniere's like, I'm still going.
Yeah.
I'm still going.
I'm not
I
done.
don't care if you try to get in between us.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can't tell me that Ryan Reeves doesn't have that effect. Because we saw before the season started him pulling the young guys aside, teaching them how to fight.
You know what it is? The fact that Ryan Reeves is on the team gives them a little protection, because no one's going to take a cheap shot at them, because they're going to pay the fucking ultimate price. And at that point, if you're going to do something like that, and around the NHL, even though the league has gotten a little soft, everybody knows you got to answer the bell when you do something stupid. So no one's going to take that cheap shot at anybody anymore, because you got Reeves out there on the team. But it's also the fact that they are a team. They're playing like a team. Everybody has each other's back. And that's what you want to see. You want to see everybody step up. It doesn't matter who's out there. If you're a fighter, you're not a fighter, you're a tiny guy, big guy. It doesn't matter. You're going to fuck around. You're going to pay the price. That's how a team in the NHL operates. And I love seeing it, dude. I love this fucking team. I absolutely love this team.
Feels good, right?
4 points outside of the Penguins. The Penguins are, coming on strong. They're having an incredible night season. Sidney Crosby had a great night. Scored his 500th goal. Good for him. I don't particularly like the guy, but scored his 500th. I mean, they're an older team. We said it already this year, but I mean, they're doing what the Penguins do, and they get hot and they run with it, and they're not going to let up. So the Rangers are right there. They're right on pace. We're, I believe, 2 points behind the Hurricanes and 4 points behind Pittsburgh, sitting there at number 3 in the Metropolitan. So
yeah, look at the standings. You're right.
Yeah, dude, you want to see those type of games, especially Boston, especially a rivalry game like that. You want to see the team step up. And now that we're past the All-Star break, we're getting into those every game counts, every point counts, and you want to continue to carry that momentum into the playoffs, because playoff hockey is no joke, dude. A lot of the times it goes to a game 6 or game 7. People get hurt. People have injuries, banged up bodies, and there's no quitting in hockey. So I love to see a win like that, especially against Boston.
I also want to stay for chasing the Pittsburgh. The Rangers have 2 games in hand, so
yeah,
you're 4 points behind. You have 2 games in hand, so you're always able to catch them. And they're 2 points behind Carolina, but Carolina has a game in hand against the Rangers. So
right.
But yeah, that's the
9-round win for Igor Shesterkin last night with Keandre Miller with the game-winning shootout goal. Last thing before we leave the NHL, happy birthday, Jaromir Jagr turns 50 this
50
week.
years old, dude. Still playing
And, he's still playing.
Where is he playing now?
Czech Republic, I believe.
Oh, really?
He owns the team he's playing for, if I remember correctly.
Oh, is it really? That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a very Mario Lemieux thing to do.
Is he a coach too? Owner, player, coach, like Jackie.
I don't think
Moon?
he's a coach. He's not pulling a
Jackie Moon.
He's not pulling a Newman's own.
Jackie Moon. Well, the Rangers got the Red Wings tomorrow night. Senators, and then Thursday, February 24th, we got the Caps, huge game, and then right after that, the 26th, the Penguins. So I mean, you got to be ready. You got to be ready, boys.
All right, so moving on now, we're gonna bring back Stat Guy Sal for a little bit.
Our NBA correspondent, intern Stat Guy Sal.
Hey, Sal, I heard the Knicks and Nets were off today, right? There was no Nets game today or Knicks game.
No, they big win for the Nets. Big win.
Well,
Nets are
Knicks
down
played half a game, so Knicks had half the night off. Basically.
Yeah, they had the half the night off. They took off. They had a 28-point lead.
I know. Don't rub it.
And they blew it.
Yeah.
And we don't have Kyrie. We don't have Durant. We don't have Simmons, Harden's in Philly. All we had was Curry, and we beat the Knicks.
I mean,
so exciting.
That's been the story of the Knicks since like 1998.
True. Very true. Very true.
I can't remember the last time the Knicks made a meaningful playoff run. They lost to the Spurs in the finals.
Yeah.
No, they had that run against. They lost to the Pacers in the Eastern semis. That was a pretty good.
The Eastern semis is like 2/3 into like the
quarters. It's the quarterfinals, not really semis.
Listen, everybody makes the playoffs in fucking basketball. Saying that you lost anything in fucking anything is like, all right, okay. And so instead of being the 32nd team in the league or 28th team rather, you're the 27th. Whoopity-doo.
Yeah, I know. It's just depressing. It's a sad, long, disgusting history of the New York Knicks. But besides that, let's get to Sal's Brooklyn Nets. I didn't even want to talk about the Knicks. I'm disgusted. I think this is actually the third 20-point lead blown.
Just one thing about the Knicks. The other day, apparently, Julius Randle was at the line and Knicks fans started chanting MVP.
Wow.
Make up our minds, people. Either we hate him or we love him. I'm hating him. That's it.
New York, it happens. It's what happens. So anyway, Sal, what I wanted to get to was your last week we recorded. It was prior to the trade deadline, before Harden was trading for Simmons. You had said you wanted to see Harden out of here because he was disgruntled. He didn't want to be here anymore. And now you bring in Simmons. So, what's after the seeing the deal? What is your how do you feel about it?
I love it. Yeah, I love it now. Simmons obviously isn't playing yet. He hasn't played all season, so it's going to take a little while for him to get ready, getting ready shape. So, right? Curry had a great game the other night. We broke our losing streak on Monday night, I think it was. Yeah, Monday night against the Kings, 109-85.
Didn't you get blown out by Celtics, though, too? Was that last night? Oh, no, I'm sure that was the 76ers. Never mind.
Yeah, the 76ers got blown out.
They got blown out by the Celtics. Yeah.
It was like a 40-point blowout.
Yeah, they got
crazy.
Harden's not playing after the All-Star break.
Yeah, I heard that. It's his hamstring still hurting him. I thought the injury was all. I thought it was fake. I was like, oh, he's just saying he's injured.
You carrying that ego all day. See how you're a hamstring.
Right.
Yeah,
but true. I didn't think he was actually hurt, but I guess he is. He's not playing with the 76ers now after the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the All-Star game, Durant he's going to be missing the All-Star game, still injured, but Steve Nash did say the game after the All-Star game, he could see Durant coming back for. So
listen, I'm sorry. If he's not playing right now for the Nets, he has no business trying to play for the All-Star game at all.
No, he's not. No, he's not playing for the All-Star game. He's playing.
I'm just saying that conversation is saying I can't play in the All-Star game. You better not.
No,
if you're not going to play the game before for your team, you better not play the All-Star game. There shouldn't even be a conversation about the All-Star game. Like that shouldn't be a word.
Well, because he was voted in and he was the captain.
I don't give a fuck. You're not paying for the team that pays you Monday through Friday, or rather, I guess October or September through July, because that's the fucking playoffs are from fucking April to July. Then you're not playing the All-Star game. It would be rude. Imagine that shit. You won't play for your team the day before, but you'll play for fucking I guess accolades the day of a game that doesn't even fucking count. Give me a break. Take 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, and rest up for the next Nets game that actually means something.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he should just rest, and then the game after the All-Star game, he supposedly might be back. That's what Steve Nash said tonight. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But Simmons is still out. He's not game ready, so I don't know when he'll be game ready because he hasn't played all season because of the problems he's had with the 76ers. So we'll see when he debuts for them. But Curry's been doing good so far. Even Andre Drummond. Don't sleep on Andre Drummond. He had a good game the other night. 11 points, 9 rebounds. He don't sleep on him. He's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean I think it was a pretty good deal. I mean, granted, you guys gave up so much for James Harden. You had to get something decent in return. I think with with Seth Curry, a couple first-round picks, and Andre Drummond. I mean, I don't think the Nets are in the worst position with losing Harden, especially if he was so disgruntled and making it tough for the locker room. It's probably seems they're better off. And Simmons is going to play defense. He's going to get rebounds for you. He's going to get assists. He knows how to move the ball. You don't need him to be the offensive guy like the Sixers needed him. The 76ers needed him to be when it was him and Embiid. You don't need him to score that much anymore. Granted, he goes to the free throw line. He can't shoot. Whatever. Hacker Simmons might come into play when it comes to the playoffs. But you know what? I mean, everyone else can have to pick up the slack offensively and let him play what his game is. And I think they'll be all right. Like Nick said, half the league makes the playoffs. They're not in as bad a shape as the Knicks right now. So I think you'll see the Nets. They'll make the playoffs. Maybe they'll make a little run, but
they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll make a run. Yeah, I don't know if they're a finals team. The Bucks are really good. Miami Heat are really good.
Celtics are still there too. I mean,
Celtics are still running around.
And the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan.
Bulls. Nets got some competition, but once Ben Simmons comes back and Durant comes back, it's game changer.
Yeah, of course it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to do our next segment. Unless you have anything else for NBA, Sal. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, that sums it up.
All right, so here we go to our new TikTok sensation. Does Gen Z know it's that guy Sal? And
I did pretty good last week.
You did good last week. I actually put it on TikTok that you got one right. So we're on TikTok now, and we've been posting these Gen Z videos. We've actually got a couple decent 100 views. Like I'm talking about almost 1,000 for us, which is impressive because my Instagram account for Scoreboard Addicts is not as popular as the TikTok one. So hopefully we keep it going here. So I'm going to show you. I think we're going to do. You guys want to do like 3? I think it was running a little long on time.
We can do 3. Let's do 3.
All right. So all right. Let me do. I have the one for TJ, and then Nick. You want to do the '90s one? Theme song.
Sure.
That was kind of your idea, so I figured that. So TJ, we have yours, and then I have mine, and then I'll save a couple for next week. So, Sal, I'm going to show you an item. I don't want an image. Okay.
All right.
Do you know what this is?
A rotary phone, right?
Yes. Do you know how to use it?
If I had one in front of me, I'd probably be able to use it. I've never used one.
So how would you dial that phone number? Let's just say
you're going to dial 911.
Yeah, how would you dial 911 on this?
Wouldn't you just swivel the thing swivel it to the right?
Swivel what?
Right?
What? Though?
Like the circle in the middle.
Which circle?
Like the entire thing. Like where the little hole is, like
He's got
push
it.
it.
Okay.
Which got it. Ring the bell.
He got it. So you do what? You would put your finger in the 9, bring it all the way around,
and then just
let it roll back,
turn it around,
Okay.
and then come back, and then do the 1.
He Googled this. I guarantee.
I swear to God, I didn't Google it.
Wow. I'm gonna clap it up for Stat Guy Sal knowing how to use a fucking rotary phone.
I've seen one before.
We're gonna run over to TJ's first because Nick's clues is a video clue. So we're gonna go to TJ's first. TJ, ask him about the show you want to ask him about. It's a cartoon.
Okay. Can you tell us? Can you tell us what 3 legendary athletes were part of the Pro Stars cartoon?
All right, I'm just gonna guess. Michael Jordan. Is that 1?
That is 1. There's 2 more.
Kobe. No.
No.
Magic. No.
We'll give you 2 more guesses.
Think different sports.
Yeah, they're not all.
They're not all basketball.
Yeah.
Jeter.
We'll give you 1 more guess.
Should we give him another hint?
If he gets it right, we'll give him a second guess. Like almost like a
Ken Griffey.
challenge.
What about Ken Griffey?
Give him a hint. Give him a hint, TJ.
They don't play baseball.
They don't play baseball?
Okay,
actually,
so
he kinda
this
does.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
get to
that's
that
true. He
one.
does
I'll give him the
kinda play
easiest one. I'll give him the easiest one. This pro not only has the most goals in the NHL, but the most assists all time in the NHL.
Is it Gretzky?
Oh my! There we go.
It shouldn't take you that long. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. So who's the last one? Yeah.
Here's the hint for the last one. He plays baseball and football.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson?
There we go.
There you go.
Wow.
The Stars cartoon starred Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Bo Jackson.
And there it is, Michael Jordan in the middle, Bo Jackson and Wayne Gretzky. So it was actually really funny because they used to solve crimes, right? So
like the
they
Mike
would,
Tyson mysteries.
So they would use like a basketball, a hockey puck, a stick, a football, and a baseball bat to solve these crimes and defeat bad guys. So coincidentally, even though it stars Michael Jackson, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky, it actually doesn't star any of them. They don't actually do their own voices. No,
I was gonna say they don't do their voiceovers.
No, they happen to blend
their likenesses.
Their likeness to the cartoon, and then they have random people do the voices.
What channel was this on?
I don't even know. I actually have a DVD of it. If I find it, I'll give you a copy.
NBC.
There's like 6 episodes.
NBC.
NBC.
Yeah,
13 episodes on NBC.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
I was back in the day when they had like Wish Kid.
Oh God.
Moving forward,
we have our next one. This is Nick's idea. Was to
we're gonna play a theme song to a TV show. Tell us what show that is.
Okay.
All right. You ready? It's a 30-second clip, but I'm gonna play 10 seconds of it. If you need more time, we'll go back and play it again for longer. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page.
Full House.
Oh, give him the number. Hit him.
That's not Full House?
It's not
Full
House. Do you want to take one more crack at it? I'll give you the theme song one more time.
Wait, that's not Full House? It sounds
exactly
like
it's not Full House. They're very similar.
Wait a minute.
Not similar at all.
They have like the same like poppy, happy
like every fucking song in the 90s.
Wait.
I'm gonna play it one more time for you, Sal. You ready?
Yeah, play it again.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find.
Well,
That was it.
Must be some magic.
I've heard this before and I've watched this show, but I have no idea.
Okay. Main character Carl Winslow.
Oh, Urkel.
It's not the name of the show.
Family Ties.
It's not Family Ties.
Give him 2 X's for that one.
What?
Family Ties starred Michael J. Fox. It was a white family. That's Family Ties.
Wait, ready? Here's your answer. Wait, no, you had 3.
Here's the answer.
Here's the answer.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out.
I was waiting for Urkel to come on. I didn't realize he was like second to last in that.
Dude, he's not Foley.
Yeah, but
I've watched that show so much as a kid. I don't know how I didn't remember it. I remembered the song, but I didn't remember the name of it. I can't believe I guessed Full House.
We'll have more for you next week. The same.
All right.
I'll throw a little fun fact for those that weren't our generation may not know this, but the reason that Rachel got her own separate, like also featuring Thelma Hopkins. Thelma Hopkins was a part of a band in the 70s, Tony Orlando and Dawn. She was one of Dawn. There were 2 women that were Dawn. She was one of the women.
Wow.
That's why she got a separate billing after everybody else, where it said Jaleel White featuring Thelma Hopkins.
Wow.
She was already famous without that show.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know.
Also, Jaleel White, who played Steve Urkel, did the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog.
He did growing up
on the animated series.
I've heard that. Yeah.
But that was Does Gen Z Know? And apparently they don't.
Oh, I got the phone. I got the phone one.
You got the phone. I think that was the hardest one.
You did get the phone.
I'll clap it up for you knowing the phone. That was the hardest one, I thought. Because I don't think you've ever physically seen a rotary phone in your life.
No, I've seen one.
Where? In a museum?
Probably at my grandpa's house or something. Probably had an old one hanging around.
They had touch tone phones by the time you were born.
No, they didn't at the time. Yeah, I used to have a Mickey one.
Touch tone phones are the phones we use now.
I used to have a Mickey Mouse phone. It was you would crank it by his foot, and his hand held the receiver, and you would pick it up off his hand.
You know what it is? He probably saw the news article and the pictures of when Russell Crowe threw a rotary phone in his assistant.
That was then Does Gen Z Know?
That was Does Gen Z Know? And now we're moving on to the news segment here.
Introduced by our intern. This is his brainchild. So if you hate it, it's his fault.
Yes, put all the blame on me if you hate it.
I kind of dig it already.
All right.
Cool.
Can you dig it?
It should say wrestling. Hold on.
This isn't WCW. All right. Wrestling.
Okay, so the newest segment, we have Wrestling Trivia Attitude Era Edition. So if you're a fan of wrestling in the 90s,
Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, WCW Raw versus Raw, Monday Night Raw. So, okay, so I have 5 questions. They'll be worth 2 points each. The 5th question we'll do like a little final Jeopardy, like where you wager your points. Question 1. Which 2 wrestlers were in the first ever Hell in a Cell match?
What we said.
Okay, yeah. All right. Show that Taker and Mankind. Undertaker, Mankind. Okay. It was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
Oh, God damn.
So
HBK, Undertaker.
Can I get half a point? Because technically there's 2 answers there.
No, there's not. You said which 2 wrestlers were in it.
We got
one. You lose. Good day, sir.
You get 2 points. Me and Rook get 1 point each.
That's bullshit.
Right,
that's hockey shit right there.
Is it worth 2 or 1? Each question's worth 2 points?
Each
Yeah,
question's
so we
worth
get a
2
point
points.
each.
So I'll give you and TJ 1, and I'll give Nick 2.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take a 1.
Shenanigans.
All right.
We should
second
tell Matt
question.
to join us for this. He would enjoy it.
He's sleeping already.
He probably is.
Second question. Actually, by the way, when the first Hell in a Cell match happened, that's also when Kane debuted.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
And I was in 97.
It's Kane!
Was it?
Yeah.
when he
Hellfire and Brimstone.
That's when he
My God,
ripped the
Kane.
door off.
Did Undertaker know he was alive still at that time?
No, he didn't know.
Damn.
That's the reason why he lost. Undertaker lost that match. Shawn Michaels won it because Kane like tombstone Undertaker, and then Shawn Michaels won.
Damn, I don't remember that.
My first AOL screen name was HBK all the way.
All right, question 2.
Question number 2.
What were the three different personas of Mick Foley?
Oh, well, we already named one of them. Is this question worth 2 or 3?
2. All right, I'll give it 3.
Make it
do
3.
3 on this.
3.
Yeah.
This one was easy.
All right.
I spelled one of the words wrong. I'm an idiot.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Mankind, Cactus Jack, All right, everybody gets 3 points.
Hey!
It was Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Do Love.
And finally, Mick Foley, the many faces of Foley.
Dude, when he used to come out as Dude Love, like, amazing.
All
You know
right.
the frightening part about it is that he created that in high school and still thought it was cool.
Yeah, he jumped off his roof. Like they would show like the videos of him jumping off his roof. It's crazy.
Funny.
And then he got thrown off a Hell in a Cell. Question 3. Which wrestler had the nickname the Ninth Wonder of the World?
The Ninth Wonder?
Yes. I think Nick is ready. This was a layup for Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Ninth Wonder. Yeah,
It's too late.
wrong.
No,
Says-
TJ's wrong.
What was it again?
Nick's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
Nick and Rook are right. It was
Look,
China.
the right answer. All right.
I first thought Andre the Giant, and then I realized
Yeah,
it was
I knew that's what people were going to think.
because I was like, wait a minute,
Right.
Eighth Wonder of the World. It's Eighth Wonder of the World, not Ninth. And then I remember
I
that China-
honestly, I put a goof layup just to be a dick, and I put Val Venus just for fun.
his dick's the
Val
10th.
Venus.
His dick is the 10th.
Hello, ladies.
Question should have been who got poison ivy rubbed on his ass cheeks.
Billy Gunn.
We're on question
All
4.
right, so right now, Rook has 6, TJ has 4, and Nick has 7. Nick's in the lead.
Wow.
All right,
four,
question
2 for
4.
3.
Yeah, he's 3 for 3. Question 4. Who won the 1999 Royal Rumble match?
I have no fucking clue. I'm going out on a limb with this one. Only because I know he's won a lot, so I'm going to go with him, but I have no idea. TJ's Googling it.
No, I got my answer right here. It's wrong, but
I have my answer too. I don't think it's right either.
Nick's thinking.
If I get it right, it's because it's a shot in the dark.
I know who you probably wrote down. Rook.
Oh, yeah, but don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, obviously. But I play percentages here.
All right, what you got? No, it was Mr. McMahon.
I fucking knew that shit. Stone Cold was already champion. Son of a bitch.
No, he wasn't. No, McMahon eliminated him last.
No,
He wasn't
Stone
champion.
Cold was who was WWE champion? Undertaker?
The Rock. No, The Rock was.
I'm wagering all 4 of my fucking points. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, so,
I'll go
okay,
home
so
broke.
Oh,
the
that's right.
fifth
This is the
question-
Final Jeopardy.
Final Jeopardy, 5th question. Wager
Ooh.
how many? 5th question I made the hardest because it's Final Jeopardy.
Oh,
So this is going to be hard. All right. Who?
so write
threatened
what you're
to-
going to wager first.
Okay, yeah. Write what you're going to wager first.
How many points do I have?
You have 7.
Yeah, Rook has 6, TJ has 4, and you have 7. All right.
Let's go. Let's do
Are
it.
you ready?
Yeah, do it.
All right. Who threatened to shoot Stone Cold with a gun during an infamous segment on an episode of Raw in 1996?
Oh, shit. I would never fucking know this. Hey, Siri.
This was a pretty famous segment in the beginning of the Attitude Era.
Show him. Let's go.
Fuck.
Ready?
I wagered 2 points.
Okay. Sid Vicious? No. Big Boss Man, good guess. The answer is Brian Pillman. Nick gets it right, and he wins the first segment of wrestling trivia.
How much did you wager, Nick?
6 points, baby.
Oh, because you knew it?
No, I wagered 6 points before I even knew the question.
Oh, how much did you wager, TJ?
4. I'm down to 0, baby.
I'm down to 4, so. God damn it, that was actually fun.
Nick wins round 1.
I think we have to make this more interactive. Get some people involved.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to join us on Wednesday night for some wrestling trivia.
Come on, man. You couldn't start this off like easy, like, hey, who murdered their family?
I actually almost wrote Chris Benoit.
I don't believe that shit for a second. Listen, that was a setup. Kevin Sullivan murdered Chris Benoit's family and set him up to take the dive. Look it up. Kevin Sullivan murdered the Benoits. Ironically enough, all right, I don't know if you guys know this. We're going to dark side of the ring right now, all right? Fucking Kevin Sullivan was married to Chris Benoit's wife, previously to Chris Benoit. They worked a story in WCW where Chris Benoit stole Kevin Sullivan's wife, who was called Woman, from Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan believed in kayfabe so much, he was like, no, you're going to travel with her. You're going to work with her. You're going to walk with her. You're going to eat with her. You're going to be seen everywhere with her. And they fell in love, and she left ugly ass, fat ass, old ass Kevin Sullivan for handsome fucking Chris Benoit. All right. When Chris Benoit allegedly killed their entire family, ironically enough, Kevin Sullivan's child wasn't there. And he was in a hotel like 10 miles down the road.
So if this is true, why isn't he arrested?
Canada, eh?
You telling me Kevin Sullivan is a genius?
I'm telling you right now, Chavo Guerrero,
1 ounce of evidence.
the day before Chris Benoit murdered his family, Chavo Guerrero received text messages from Chris Benoit asking for Chris Benoit's address.
I've never heard of that one.
Well, I know everybody said that they were absolutely shocked because there was nobody in the world Chris Benoit loved more than his kid.
Yeah.
They said
and again, all of them died except for Kevin Sullivan's kid.
They said that Chris Benoit was all about his kid, that you wouldn't know happiness until you saw Chris Benoit around his kid, that like he was just a totally different person. He was just a teddy bear of a man around his son and would just like dote over him. So that's why they said that like nobody believed it, because they're like, he would never be able to hurt a hair on his child's head. He'd like all about his kid.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's still alive?
Still alive. Yeah.
Okay, so that entire segment was allegedly.
Yeah, whatever. Suck it, Kevin Sullivan. You murdered the Benoits.
Allegedly.
He stole your wife because he was a better looking and a handsomer man than you. You're fat piece of shit. No. He stole his wife for real because of those reasons.
I know. I'm just making sure everyone knows this is alleged. None of this falls back on us.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
These are just conspiracy theories we're discussing. This is not us making
out. Look it up. Kevin Sullivan murdered Chris Benoit's family.
Allegedly.
Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, I'm going to walk around in the background in the dark in a trench coat.
And on that note, Nick,
I think that's all we have for us this week. For all of you that joined us with the Scoreboard Addicts podcast, thanks for being with us. We'll see you on TikTok, Twitter, Belly Up Radio Station. We'll see you on Belly Up TV on Tiki Live. We'll see you on Deezer. We'll see you on Audible. We're on Audible now.
We are on Audible.
We made it to the big time, boys. Audible.
We're on Google. We're actually available anywhere where podcasts are available, except for,
are we on Google Podcasts now?
Except for iHeartRadio. We're on like everything.
All right. For those of you seeing the edited version, I'm not crying. We just saw something or heard something hilarious. Thank you for joining us here at the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. We appreciate you spending this time with us. We'll catch you again next week. And we're out like fat kids in dodgeball.
Peace.
Stay rock.